The Alpha's Rejected Mate, a Werewolf Shifter. Romance Audiobook by Dora's Romance Audiobooks. Prologue. The Rejection, Sera. They say the moment you meet your fated mate, the world stops spinning. That time freezes and nothing else matters except the magnetic pull drawing you toward your other half. They lied. When I looked into Alpha Damien Blackthorn's silver eyes across the crowded ballroom at the moon ceremony, time didn't stop. It shattered. My wolf surged forward, recognizing him instantly. Mate. The word echoed through every fiber of my being. His scent hit me like a physical force. Cedar and mountain rain mixed with something darkly masculine that made my knees weak. For one perfect crystalline moment, I saw recognition flash in his eyes, too. The mate bond snapped into place between us, a golden thread binding soul to soul. Then his expression hardened to stone. I, Damien Blackthorn, Alpha of the Silvercrest Pack, reject you as my mate. The words ripped through me like silver claws. Around us, the celebration continued, oblivious to my world crumbling. The golden thread between us turned to acid, burning through my chest. My voice broke. Why? His jaw clenched, and for a heartbeat something like pain flickered across his face. Then it was gone, replaced by cold indifference. You're not strong enough. The Luna of Silvercrest must be a warrior, and you... His gaze raked over me dismissively. You're nothing but an Omega. A weak link I cannot afford. He turned and walked away, leaving me standing there as the rejection bond seared through my veins like poison. Around me, whispers started, pitying glances, barely concealed smirks. The rejected mate of the most powerful alpha in the Northern Territory. I ran. I ran from the ballroom, from the pack house, from everything I'd ever known. Behind me, I heard his voice one last time, cold and final. Accept the rejection, Omega. Let me go. But I couldn't. Even as pain tore me apart, even as my wolf howled in agony, I couldn't form the words. Because somewhere deep in my soul, I knew. This wasn't the end of our story. It was only the beginning. Chapter 1, 6 months later, Sera. The rain matched my mood, cold, relentless, and dreary. I pulled my threadbare jacket tighter as I navigated the muddy path toward the Nightshade Pack border. 6 months. 6 months since that night, since the rejection that should have killed me, but didn't. Since I became a rogue, packless, and wandering. My wolf stirred restlessly beneath my skin. She was stronger now. We both were. Rejection had nearly destroyed us. But what doesn't kill you either makes you stronger or leaves you shattered. I refused to shatter. Stop right there! A voice barked from the tree line. I froze, raising my hands slowly. 2 wolves emerged from the shadows, shifting mid-stride into their human forms. Border Patrol. The woman had kind eyes, despite her aggressive stance. I'm seeking sanctuary, I said, keeping my voice steady. I'm skilled in healing. I can be useful to your pack. The male guard snorted. Another rogue. Alpha Zeke doesn't usually let her through. A new voice, deep and commanding, cut through the rain. A massive figure stepped from between the trees, and my breath caught. Alpha Zeke of the Nightshade Pack. I'd heard stories. Ruthless, powerful, and rumored to be cursed never to find his mate. His golden eyes assessed me with unsettling intensity. What's your name, little rogue? Sera. I met his gaze, refusing to show fear. Something flickered in his expression. Surprise, maybe respect. You have the eyes of someone who's survived hell. Come, we'll talk in the pack house. As I followed him through the territory, my wolf remained oddly calm. Safe, she seemed to whisper. We're safe here. I should have known better. Safety was an illusion, because at that moment, hundreds of miles away in Silvercrest territory, Damien Blackthorn felt something shift. The mate bond he'd tried to sever, the connection he'd buried deep, suddenly blazed back to life. and he knew with absolute certainty that his greatest mistake was walking away from me. Chapter 2. The curse revealed Sera. The Nightshade pack house was nothing like Silvercrest's marble palace. It was older, darker, built from ancient stone that whispered of secrets. Alpha Zeke led me through corridors lined with portraits of past alphas until we reached his office. "Sit." He gestured to a chair before settling behind his desk, those golden eyes never leaving mine. "Tell me why the mate of Damien Blackthorn is on my doorstep, rejected and alone." I stiffened. "How did you— You're sent." He leaned back, studying me. "Underneath the rain and road dust, you carry the faintest trace of cedar and mountain rain. And there's something else, a broken bond that's not quite broken. You never accepted his rejection, did you?" My silence was answer enough. Zeke's expression softened almost imperceptibly. "I know what it's like to be cursed by fate. That's why I'll make you a deal, Sera. Stay here. Train with our healers. Grow strong. Become who you were meant to be. In exchange, I get a skilled healer for my pack." "Why help me?" "Because I've seen what Damien Blackthorn is capable of," he said, his voice darkening. "And because no one deserves to be thrown away for not fitting someone else's idea of perfection." He paused. "Also, there's something you should know. 3 weeks from now, there's a summit. All the Northern Territory Alphas will attend, including Damien." My heart stuttered. "I can't. You won't have to see him. But I think you should be there, as my pack's representative healer." His lips curved into something almost like a smile. "Let him see what he threw away." Before I could respond, a sharp knock interrupted us. A young woman burst in, panic bright in her eyes. "Alpha, it's Marcus. The fever, it's the curse, it's happening again." Zeke was on his feet instantly, and I followed as he ran through the corridors to the infirmary. Inside, a warrior thrashed on a bed, his skin burning hot to the touch, veins turning black beneath his skin. "What curse?" I demanded, but I was already moving, my healer instincts taking over. I placed my hands on the warrior's chest, feeling the wrongness radiating through him. "Our pack has been cursed for 3 generations, Zeke said grimly. "Every decade, it claims 3 of our strongest warriors. No healer has been able to stop it." I closed my eyes, letting my wolf rise to the surface. She was stronger now, wild and unleashed by rejection. And suddenly I felt it. Dark magic, ancient and malevolent, wrapped around the warrior's life force like thorns. My hands began to glow with a soft, silver light. Zeke inhaled sharply. "That's impossible. You're not just a healer. You're a moon blessed." The warrior's thrashing slowed, his breathing easing as the black veins began to recede. When I finally opened my eyes, exhausted, Marcus was sleeping peacefully. "What's a moon blessed?" I asked, swaying on my feet. Zeke caught me before I fell. "A healer with the moon goddess's own power running through their veins. They're born once every century." His voice was filled with awe and something else, calculation. "Sera, you're not just powerful. You're legendary. And Damien Blackthorn rejected you because you seemed weak?" He started to laugh, the sound echoing through the infirmary. "Oh, this summit just became very interesting indeed." But neither of us knew that word had already spread, that rogues in the forest had witnessed my power, and were even now carrying news to someone who'd been searching for a moon, blessed for years. Someone with far darker intentions than healing. Chapter 3. The Training Sera. Dawn broke cold and unforgiving, much like my new trainer. "Again!" Lyra barked, her silver hair whipping in the wind as she circled me. "You think the enemies of this pack will wait for you to catch your breath? Move!" I lunged, using the techniques she'd drilled into me for the past 3 weeks. This time, my movements were fluid, instinctive. My wolf surged beneath my skin, lending me her strength. I twisted, catching Lyra off guard, and swept her legs out from under her. She landed on her back with a grunt, then grinned up at me. Finally, there's the fighter I knew was hiding under all that wounded puppy energy. I offered her a hand up, breathing hard. The training yard had become my sanctuary. Every morning before sunrise, Lyra, Zeke's beta, and the pack's best warrior, put me through hell. And every morning I came back stronger. You've improved remarkably, Lyra said, studying me with shrewd eyes. But there's still something holding you back. You fight like someone who's afraid of their own power. She was right. Even now I could feel it, the vast well of moon-blessed energy inside me, and my fear of fully letting it loose. What if I couldn't control it? What if I hurt someone? The summit is tomorrow, Lyra continued, her voice gentling. He'll be there. My stomach twisted. Damien. I hadn't let myself think about him, hadn't let myself remember the way his scent made me dizzy, the way his silver eyes haunted my dreams, the way the mate bond still pulsed weakly between us despite everything. I'm not going for him, I said firmly. I'm going as Nightshade's representative. Keep telling yourself that. Lyra smiled knowingly. But answer me this. Did you accept his rejection? And do you know what that means? She stepped closer. It means the bond is dormant, not dead. It means that when you see him tomorrow, when your scents mingle and your wolves recognize each other, that bond is going to roar back to life. Both of you will feel it. Are you ready for that? I wasn't, but I'd never admit it. That night I stood before the mirror in my room, barely recognizing the woman staring back. Gone was the timid Omega in a shabby dress. In her place stood a warrior in midnight blue, with eyes that had seen darkness and emerged stronger. My auburn hair fell in waves past my shoulders, and my skin seemed to glow with an inner light, the moon blessing making itself known. A knock sounded. Zeke entered, magnificent in formal attire, his golden eyes approving. You look like a Luna, he said simply. I'm not a Luna. I'm a healer. You're whatever you choose to be. He held out his arm. Ready to show the Northern Territory what they've been missing? As we walked to the convoy of cars, my wolf stirred. Something's coming, she whispered. Something big. She was right. Because at the summit venue, Damien Blackthorn had just arrived. And the moment he stepped into the grand halls, he froze, his entire body going rigid. His wolf surged forward, nearly taking control. Her scent, cedar smoke and wild jasmine, but stronger now, richer, mixed with something that made his wolf howl in recognition and regret. Alpha? His beta, Marcus, touched his arm. What's wrong? She's here, Damien breathed, his silver eyes scanning the crowd desperately. Sera's here. And for the first time in 6 months, he felt the full weight of what he'd done. The mate bond, which he'd thought successfully severed, erupted back to life with devastating force. It wrapped around his heart like a vice, pulling him toward her with magnetic intensity. He'd spent 6 months convincing himself the rejection was necessary, that she was too weak, too gentle for the brutal world of pack politics. He'd spent 6 months being wrong. Chapter 4. The Reunion, Sera. I felt him before I saw him. The mate bond exploded to life as I entered the summit hall, stealing my breath and nearly bringing me to my knees. Only Zeke's steadying hand kept me upright. Easy, he murmured. Remember who you are now. But my wolf wasn't listening. She was screaming, clawing to get out, desperate to reach him. Mate, mate, mate. Then I saw him. Damien stood across the hall, frozen like a statue, those silver eyes locked onto me with an intensity that made my skin burn. He looked different, thinner, with shadows under his eyes that hadn't been there before. His jaw was clenched so tight I could see the muscle jumping, and his hands were fisted at his sides as if he was physically restraining himself from coming to me. Our eyes met, and the world stopped. For a heartbeat, I was back in that ballroom, feeling the mate bond snap into place, feeling the euphoria before the devastation. His scent wrapped around me, cedar and mountain rain, and my wolf whimpered with longing. Then I remembered. You're not strong enough. You're nothing but an omega. A weak link I cannot afford. I lifted my chin and deliberately turned away, letting Zeke guide me to the nightshade table. Behind me, I heard a sound like a wounded animal. It took me a moment to realize it had come from Damien. Sera. Zeke's voice was low, concerned. Your hands are glowing. I looked down. Silver light was emanating from my palms, responding to the emotional turmoil inside me. I clenched my fists, forcing it down, forcing the power back into the depths where I kept it locked. I'm fine, I lied. The summit began with the usual political posturing, territory disputes, trade agreements, security concerns. I tried to focus, tried to be present, but every cell in my body was aware of Damien across the room. The mate bond pulsed between us like a living thing, growing stronger with each passing moment. Halfway through the proceedings, Damien stood. His voice, when he spoke, was strained. I request a recess. There's a matter I need to address. The High Elder frowned. Alpha Blackthorn, we're in the middle of... Now! The command in Damien's voice made everyone in the room instinctively straighten. This was the Alpha King speaking, the most powerful wolf in the Northern Territory. Or I won't be responsible for what my wolf does. His eyes never left mine. The High Elder sighed. Very well. 30 minutes. Damien was moving before the words were fully spoken, cutting through the crowd like a predator zeroing in on prey. My heart hammered as he approached our table. Up close, he was even more devastating. 6.5 feet of raw power and barely leashed control. Sera. My name on his lips was a prayer and a plea. Please, I need to talk to you. Zeke stood, placing himself slightly between us. The lady doesn't owe you anything, Blackthorn. Stay out of this, Zeke. Damien's eyes flashed wolf silver. This is between me and my mate. Rejected mate, I corrected, my voice surprisingly steady despite my racing heart. You made your choice 6 months ago. The worst choice of my life, his voice cracked. Sera, please, 5 minutes, that's all I ask. I should have said no, should have walked away with my head held high. But the mate bond was screaming at me, and my wolf was clawing to get to him, and I was so tired of fighting. 5 minutes, I agreed, standing. That's all you get. Relief flooded his face. He led me to a private terrace overlooking the mountain ranges, and the moment the door closed behind us, his scent enveloped me completely. I swayed, dizzy with longing. You're different, he said hoarsely, drinking me in with his eyes. Stronger, more radiant. What happened to you? I survived you, I said simply. I survived your rejection and became someone who doesn't need your approval to know her worth. He flinched as if I'd struck him. Sera, He ran a hand through his hair, the gesture achingly familiar. I was wrong. So catastrophically wrong. I thought I was protecting the pack, protecting you, but I was just a coward, afraid of how much power you held over me. What are you saying? I'm saying that every day without you has been torture. I'm saying that I haven't been able to eat, sleep, or think of anything but you. I'm saying... He stepped closer, and I could see his wolf in his eyes now, desperate and wild. I'm saying I want to take it back. The rejection. I want to complete our mate bond and spend the rest of my life making this up to you. My heart was pounding so hard, I thought it might break my ribs. Part of me, the part that had loved him from the moment we met, wanted to fall into his arms and forgive everything. But I was different now, stronger, and I needed answers. Why did you really reject me, Damien? I demanded. And don't give me that weak Omega excuse. I want the truth. His jaw worked. For a long moment he was silent, warring with himself. Then, finally, there's a prophecy. About me, about my mate. The Oracle told me years ago that my true mate would be the key to either saving our world or destroying it. That enemies would come for her, use her against me, and that she'd need to be strong enough to survive them. When I saw you, so gentle, so kind, I panicked. I thought I was protecting you by pushing you away. You thought I was weak. I thought you were precious, he corrected roughly, and I was terrified of what loving you would cost. But Sera, these past 6 months have taught me something. Strength isn't just about fighting. It's about surviving the unsurvivable. It's about rising from rejection and becoming more powerful than anyone ever imagined. You were never weak. You were always meant for this, for greatness. I was just too blind to see it. Before I could respond, the terrace door burst open. Zeke stood there, his face grim. We have a problem. Rogues have breached the perimeter. And Sera, they're asking for you specifically. My blood ran cold. What? They say they have orders to bring in the Moon Blessed, Zeke continued, dead or alive. Damien's hand shot out, gripping my arm protectively. His eyes had gone full wolf, dangerous and feral. No one touches her. I don't care what I have to burn down. No one takes my mate. Rejected mate, I reminded him, but my voice was shaking now. Not for long, he growled. Sera, please, let me protect you. Let me fix this. I looked between them, Zeke, who'd given me sanctuary and asked for nothing but my healing, and Damien, who'd shattered my heart, but was looking at me now like I was his entire world. The rogues were closing in, and I had a terrible feeling that the prophecy Damien mentioned was about to come true. One way or another. Chapter 5. The Attack Sera. The explosion rocked the building before I could answer. Glass shattered inward as someone came crashing through the window. Damien moved instantly, shoving me behind him as 3 rogues materialized on the terrace. But these weren't ordinary rogues. Their eyes glowed an unnatural red, and dark magic rolled off them in waves. "The Moon Blessed!" the leader hissed, his voice distorted. "Our master has waited long enough." "Your master can wait in hell," Damien snarled. His shift was instantaneous. One moment man, the next a massive black wolf with silver eyes that promised death. He lunged, the fight was brutal and fast. Zeke shifted too, his golden wolf joining Damien as they tore into the possessed rogues. But more were coming. I could hear them, dozens of them, converging on our location. And I knew, with terrible certainty, what I had to do. The moon blessing had been dormant for so long, suppressed by my fear and self-doubt. But these wolves, my wolves, were fighting to protect me. It was time to stop hiding. I closed my eyes and let go. Power exploded from me in a wave of silver light. It rolled across the terrace, the building, the grounds beyond. Every rogue it touched screamed as the dark magic possessing them was burned away, leaving them unconscious but alive. When the light faded, I was glowing like a star, silver flames dancing across my skin. The moon blessing was fully awakened now, and it felt like coming home. Damien shifted back to human form, his eyes wide with awe. "Sera? Behind you!" I screamed. He spun, but not fast enough. A rogue, larger than the others, clearly an alpha, emerged from the shadows. Before anyone could react, he'd grabbed me, his claws at my throat. "One move, and she dies," he growled. Up close, I could see the intelligence in his red eyes, the dark magic that gave him inhuman strength. My master wants the moon blessed alive, but he didn't say unharmed. "Let her go." Damien's voice was deadly calm, but I could see his whole body trembling with the effort of holding back. "I'll give you whatever you want. Territory, gold, my own life. Just let her go." Touching. The rogue's breath was hot against my ear. "But you have nothing I want, fallen king. Once we take the moon blessed, her power will break the seal. The ancient darkness will rise, and your precious world will burn." Ancient darkness. The words triggered something in my memory, a story my grandmother had told me as a child, about an evil sealed away by the first moon blessed, locked in a prison that could only be opened by another of our kind. They didn't want to use me. They wanted to use my power to destroy everything. Never, I whispered. Then, louder, I will never help you unleash that monster. You don't have a choice. He was wrong. I always had a choice. I called the moon blessing up from the depths of my soul, let it fill every cell of my body. The rogue sensed it too late. He tried to tighten his grip, but I was already burning, silver flames that didn't hurt me but seared him like acid. He screamed and released me. I spun, placing my glowing hands on his chest, and pushed every ounce of power I had into him. The dark magic shattered and he collapsed, unconscious. But the effort left me drained. I swayed, my vision darkening at the edges. Strong arms caught me before I hit the ground. Damien's scent surrounded me, cedar and mountain rain, and despite everything, I felt safe. I've got you, he murmured against my hair. I've got you, mate. You're safe now. The ancient darkness, I managed to say. They want to use me to... I heard. His arms tightened around me. And I promise you, Sera, on my life and my pack and everything I am, I will not let anyone use you. Not ever again. Zeke appeared beside us, back in human form, blood streaking his skin. We need to get her somewhere safe. If word of her power has spread this far, every dark entity in the realm will be coming for her. Silvercrest, Damien said immediately. My territory has the strongest defenses in the north. She'll be protected there. I wanted to protest, to say I didn't need his protection, that I could take care of myself. But the truth was, I was exhausted, overwhelmed, and terrified. Dark forces were hunting me, wanting to use my power to unleash an ancient evil. And the mate bond, now fully awakened by our proximity and the intensity of the danger, was singing through my veins. Every instinct I had was screaming to stay close to Damien, to accept his protection, to complete what we'd started 6 months ago. Okay, I whispered. Silvercrest. Relief transformed his face. He stood lifting me easily in his arms. Thank you. Sera, I swear to you. Later, I interrupted. Right now, just get us somewhere safe. As we fled the summit, rogues still prowling the perimeter, I caught Zeke's eye. He nodded once, a silent promise. I'll be watching. If he hurts you again, Alpha King or not, I'll end him. But as Damien held me close, his heartbeat steady against my ear, his wolf purring contentedly for the first time in months, I couldn't help but wonder, was I making the biggest mistake of my life? Or was this exactly where I was always meant to be? Chapter 6. The truth, Sera. Silvercrest looked different in the moonlight. The pack house I'd fled 6 months ago now loomed before me like a fortress. Massive stone walls, guard towers, magical wards shimmering in the air. Damien's territory was the most heavily protected in the Northern Territory for good reason. He was the Alpha King, descended from the first wolf shifters, guardian of ancient magic and keeper of countless secrets. And I was his rejected mate, being carried across his threshold in his arms. You can put me down now, I said as we entered the grand foyer. I can walk. Humor me. His voice was rough, strained. 6 months of not knowing if you were alive or dead, Sera. 6 months of searching every territory, tracking every rumor. Let me hold you a little longer. My treacherous heart skipped. You searched for me? Every single day. His silver eyes met mine, raw with emotion. I sent trackers to every corner of the realm, but you'd vanished completely. It nearly destroyed me. Good, I said, but there was no heat in it. The mate bond was wrapping around us both now, warm and insistent, trying to pull us together. He carried me up the grand staircase to the Alpha's wing. His wing. The room he brought me to made me gasp. It was enormous, with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the forest, a fireplace crackling with warmth, and a bed that could easily fit 4 people. "The Luna's sweet," Damien said quietly. "It's been empty for generations. I had it prepared for you, for after the mating ceremony, before I—" He trailed off, jaw clenching. "Before you rejected me in front of everyone." "Yes." He set me down gently on the bed, then stepped back, putting distance between us. "Sera, I need to tell you everything. The prophecy, the oracle's warning, all of it. You deserve to know why I did what I did." I pulled my knees up, wrapping my arms around them. "I'm listening." He began to pace, the restless energy of his wolf evident in every movement. "The prophecy came to me on my 18th birthday, the night I became Alpha. The oracle appeared in my dreams, a vision so vivid I knew it was real. She showed me you." My breath caught. "What?" "She showed me my mate. Auburn hair like autumn fire, eyes like the forest after rain, a gentleness that could calm the fiercest storm. She showed me how much I would love you, how completely you would own my soul, and then she showed me the danger." He stopped pacing, his back to me, shoulders rigid. "The ancient darkness has been imprisoned for 1,000 years, sealed away by the first moon blessed. But the seal weakens with time. And the prophecy said that my mate would be the key, either to strengthening the seal forever or breaking it completely. So you rejected me to protect me," I said slowly. "You thought pushing me away would keep me safe. I thought if we never completed the bond, if I could make you hate me enough to truly sever the connection, then the prophecy couldn't come true. The dark forces couldn't use you against me if there was nothing between us." He turned, and the anguish on his face made my chest ache. "But I didn't account for one thing." "What?" "That you wouldn't accept the rejection." His voice dropped to a whisper. "That the bond would remain, dormant but unbroken. And that by pushing you away, by forcing you to become stronger on your own, I'd actually put you in more danger. Because now you're the most powerful moon blessed in a millennium, and you're unprotected by a pack bond." I stood, crossing to him. "Damien, look at me." He did, reluctantly. Up close, I could see the toll these months had taken. The shadows under his eyes, the new lines of stress around his mouth, the barely leashed desperation of his wolf. "I understand why you did it," I said carefully. "I understand you were trying to protect me. But you made a choice for both of us without giving me a say. You decided I was too weak, too fragile, without ever giving me a chance to prove otherwise." "I know." His hands clenched at his sides, like he was physically restraining himself from reaching for me. "And if I could go back, if I could undo that moment, I would. But I can't, Sera. All I can do is spend the rest of my life trying to make it right." "How?" I challenged. "How do you make right the fact that you shattered my heart? That I spent months thinking I wasn't good enough, wasn't strong enough, wasn't enough, period?" "I can't," he said hoarsely. "But I can tell you the truth now. You were always too much, Sera. Too kind, too beautiful, too perfect. I took one look at you and knew you'd be my undoing, that I'd love you so completely, I'd burn the world down if anyone tried to hurt you. And that terrified me, because an Alpha King can't afford that kind of weakness. Love isn't weakness. I know that now." He finally gave in, reaching up to cup my face with trembling hands. "These 6 months without you taught me that. Love is the strongest magic there is. And rejecting you wasn't protecting you. It was the most selfish thing I've ever done. Because I was really just protecting myself from how much it would destroy me if I lost you." Tears were streaming down my face now. "You did lose me. The girl who walked into that ballroom 6 months ago, that Sera, is gone. I'm different now. I know." His thumb brushed away my tears with infinite gentleness. "And I love who you've become even more. You're fierce and powerful, and so breathtakingly strong. You're everything a Luna should be. Everything I was too blind to see before. The mate bond flared between us, hot and demanding. His scent wrapped around me, making my wolf whimper with need. It would be so easy to give in, to let him kiss me, to complete the bond and surrender to this magnetic pull. But I needed to be sure. If we do this, I whispered, if we complete the mate bond, there's no going back. You can't change your mind again. You can't reject me because things get hard or scary. Never. The word was a vow, fierce and absolute. Sera, I reject my rejection. I claim you as my mate, my Luna, my everything. And I will spend every day proving that you can trust me with your heart. I swear it on my pack, my title, and my life. And the prophecy? The danger? We'll face it together. His forehead pressed against mine, because that's what mates do. We don't run from danger. We run toward each other. I closed my eyes, feeling the rightness of this moment settle into my bones. My wolf was singing. The mate bond was blazing, and every instinct I had was screaming that this was meant to be. Then kiss me, I breathed, and don't ever let me go again. His lips crashed onto mine, and the world exploded. The mate bond snapped fully into place with a force that stole my breath. Silver light erupted from my skin, wrapping around us both as the moon blessing recognized its other half. Damien's wolf surged forward, his eyes flashing as he deepened the kiss, claiming me with a possessiveness that should have frightened me, but only made me burn hotter. This was what I'd been missing. This completion, this rightness, this sense of finally being home. When we finally broke apart, both breathing hard, Damien's eyes were pure silver, his wolf in control. Mine, he growled, the word rumbling through his chest. My mate, my Luna. Mine. Yours, I agreed breathlessly. And you're mine. His answering smile was pure wolf, predatory and possessive and completely devoted. Always have been, Sera, from the moment I first saw you. But as we stood there, wrapped in each other in the glowing aftermath of our completed bond, neither of us noticed the shadow moving outside the window, or the red eyes watching us from the darkness. Chapter 7. The Binding Ceremony. Sera. I woke wrapped in warmth and the scent of cedar and mountain rain. Damien's arms were around me, his chest pressed against my back, his breathing deep and even. Sometime during the night, we'd fallen asleep like this, fully clothed but tangled together, the mate bond humming contentedly between us. The morning sun streamed through the windows, painting everything gold. For the first time in 6 months, I felt peaceful, whole. You're awake, Damien murmured against my hair, his voice rough with sleep. I can feel your thoughts through the bond. I smiled. The mate bond was fully active now, a constant presence linking our souls. I could feel his contentment, his joy, and underneath it all, a fierce protectiveness that made my wolf purr. What happens now? I asked, turning in his arms to face him. Those silver eyes held mine, serious now. Now we make it official. The pack needs to witness our bond, accept you as their Luna. We'll hold the ceremony tonight, a full moon, perfect timing. He hesitated. Unless you want to wait? No waiting. I was surprised by my own certainty. We've waited long enough. Relief flooded his features, and through the bond, I felt the depth of his joy. There's something else. The pack. They don't know what happened between us 6 months ago. I never told them about the rejection. As far as they know, I've been searching for my mate, and now I've finally found you. I sat up, processing this. You lied to them? I told them I'd met my mate, but she needed time before accepting the bond, that I was giving her space to come to the decision on her own. His jaw tightened. It wasn't entirely a lie, but Sera, I want you to know. If you want to tell them the truth, I'll support that. I'll stand before the entire pack and admit what I did. I'll accept whatever judgment you decide I deserve. The old Sera, the one who'd been rejected and broken, might have wanted that revenge. Might have wanted to see him humbled before his pack. But I wasn't that girl anymore. The past is the past, I said quietly. What matters is who we are now, and who we choose to be going forward. The pack doesn't need to know about our mistakes. They just need to know their Alpha has found his Luna, and she's going to protect them with everything she has. The look he gave me was reverent. How did I get so lucky? You didn't. I poked his chest, smiling. You got what you deserved, a second chance you have to earn every single day. Fair enough. He caught my hand, pressing a kiss to my palm. Then let me start earning it. Come, my Luna, there's someone I want you to meet. An hour later, after I'd showered and changed into clothes that actually fit, Damien had an entire wardrobe prepared for me, which should have been creepy but was actually touching. We made our way through the pack house. Wolves stopped and stared as we passed, their eyes widening as they scented the completed mate bond. Whispers followed in our wake. The Alpha's mate. She's here. Finally. Damien led me to a cozy sitting room where an elderly woman waited, her silver hair braided down her back, her eyes milky with age, but somehow seeing everything. Oracle, Damien said respectfully, bowing his head. This is Sera, my mate. The Oracle's unseeing eyes fixed on me with unnerving accuracy. The moon blessed, she said, her voice like dried leaves rustling. Come here, child. Let me see what you've become. I approached cautiously. She reached out, gnarled hands finding my face, tracing my features with gentle fingers. Then she gasped, her grip tightening. The prophecy, she whispered. It's already in motion. The ancient darkness knows what you are. Even now, its servants are gathering, preparing for the convergence. What's the convergence? I asked, though dread was already pooling in my stomach. 3 nights from now, during the eclipse, the barrier between worlds will be at its weakest. The ancient darkness will attempt to use your power to break free from its prison. Her milky eyes seemed to clear for a moment, focusing on me with terrible intensity. You are the key, child. The lock and the key, both. You can either seal the darkness away forever, or unleash it upon the world. How do I seal it? The same way the first Moon Blessed did. With a sacrifice. Her hands dropped from my face. But be warned, the sacrifice required may be greater than you can bear. Damien moved to my side, his presence steadying. Whatever it takes, we'll face it together. Will you? The Oracle's gaze shifted to him. When the moment comes, Alpha King, will you be able to let her go? Or will your love doom us all? The question hung in the air, heavy and ominous. Damien's hand found mine, squeezing tight. Through the bond, I felt his determination and his fear. Fear of losing me again. Fear of failing his pack. Fear of the choice that was coming. We have 3 days, I said firmly. 3 days to prepare, to find another way. I didn't survive rejection and become the moon-blessed just to die, in some prophecy. There has to be another option. The Oracle smiled sadly. Perhaps. Or perhaps your strength lies not in avoiding fate, but in choosing how to meet it. She stood, her movements surprisingly spry. Prepare for tonight's ceremony, young Luna. Bind yourself to this pack. Let them lend you their strength. You'll need every ounce of power you can gather. After she left, I turned to Damien. She's wrong. There has to be another way. Then we'll find it. His voice was steel. I just got you back, Sera. I'm not losing you to some ancient prophecy. We'll research, consult every record in the library, talk to every witch and seer in the territory. We will find another way. But even as he said it, I could feel his doubt through the bond, and my own certainty was wavering. What if the only way to save everyone was to sacrifice myself? Could I do it? Could I leave him again, this time permanently? That night, under the full moon, the entire Silvercrest pack gathered for the Luna ceremony. I stood before them in a white dress that seemed to glow silver in the moonlight, the moon blessing, making my skin luminescent. Damien stood beside me in formal black, looking every inch the Alpha King. His hand held mine as he addressed the pack. "My wolves," he called out, his voice carrying across the clearing. "Tonight I present to you your Luna, Sera, the moon blessed, my fated mate, and the other half of my soul. She is strong where I am weak, gentle where I am harsh, light where I am shadow. She will protect this pack with her life, heal the wounded, and guide us toward a better future. Do you accept her?" The pack's response was a deafening howl of approval. Hundreds of wolves, in human and animal form, raised their voices in welcome. The sound washed over me, and I felt the pack bonds beginning to form, golden threads connecting my heart to theirs. "Sera," Damien said, turning to me, "do you accept this pack as your own? Will you stand as their Luna, now and always?" I looked out at the sea of faces, wolves who'd already accepted me, who were looking at me with hope and trust. This was what I'd always wanted. Belonging, purpose, a family. "I do," I said clearly. "I accept the Silvercrest pack as my own. I will protect them, heal them, and stand beside my Alpha in all things. This I swear." Power exploded through me as the pack bonds snapped into place. I gasped, feeling the connection to hundreds of souls, their strength flowing into me and mine, flowing back to them. The moon blessing flared, silver light cascading over the entire clearing. And in that moment of connection, I felt something else. A darkness pressing against the edges of our territory. Watching. Waiting. The ancient darkness knew where I was, and it was coming. Chapter 8. The Convergence, Sera. 3 days had never passed so quickly. We spent every waking hour in the library, poring over ancient texts and prophecies. Damien called in every favor, consulted every witch and scholar in the Northern Territory. But the answer was always the same. To seal the ancient darkness, a moon blessed must give their life force, their very essence, to strengthen the barrier. There was no other way. "I won't accept that," Damien growled, slamming another useless book closed. We were in his office, surrounded by piles of research, the eclipse just hours away. There has to be something we're missing. "Damien." I placed my hand over his, feeling his frustration and fear through our bond. "We've tried everything." "Not everything. We could run. Take you somewhere far from here, hide you until... Until what? The barrier fails and the ancient darkness destroys everything?" I shook my head. "You know I can't do that. The pack bonds, I can feel them now. I feel every wolf in this territory. I can't abandon them. Then I'm coming with you." His silver eyes were fierce. "Whatever this sacrifice is, we face it together." "You can't. The pack needs their Alpha. The pack needs both of us." He stood abruptly, pacing like a caged animal. "Sera, I rejected you once to protect you. I'm not making that mistake again. If you're walking into danger, I'm right beside you." Before I could argue, the office door burst open. Zeke stood there looking grim. "They're here. Dozens of them, all possessed by dark magic. They're demanding the moon blessed." My blood ran cold. It was time. The eclipse had already begun, the moon slowly being swallowed by shadow. On the pack's southern border, an army of possessed rogues waited, their eyes glowing red, dark magic rolling off them in waves. At their head stood a figure that made my skin crawl. It wore human form, but there was nothing human in those eyes. They were pits of absolute darkness, ancient and malevolent. "The ancient darkness," I breathed. "A fragment of it," Damien corrected, his wolf rising to the surface. "Possessing a host. The real entity is still trapped, but this piece is strong enough." The possessed figure's mouth curved into a smile. "Moon blessed," it called out in a voice like grinding stone. "You know what must happen. Come to me willingly, and I'll spare your precious pack. Resist, and I'll slaughter every wolf here before dragging you to the seal anyway." "Don't listen to it," Damien snarled. "We fight, all of us together." But I could see the possessed rogues. There were hundreds of them, maybe thousands. Even with Silvercrest's strength, with Zeke's wolves who'd arrived to help, we were outnumbered. And innocent wolves were dying inside those possessed bodies. I had to end this. Now. I stepped forward and Damien's hand shot out, gripping my arm. "Sera, no. Trust me," I said quietly, meeting his eyes. Through our bond, I pushed every ounce of love I felt, every bit of certainty. "Trust me, my Alpha." His hand trembled, but slowly he released me. I walked toward the darkness, silver light beginning to glow from my skin. The moon blessing recognized what was coming, rising to meet it. Behind me, I heard Damien's anguished sound, but he didn't follow. He trusted me. "I'll come with you," I told the ancient darkness. "But first, release these wolves. They're innocent." "Done." The fragment waved a hand, and the possessed rogues collapsed, the red fading from their eyes. "Now come, little moon blessed. Let us finish what was started 1,000 years ago." It reached for me, and the moment its darkness touched my light, I understood. The first moon-blessed hadn't died to seal the darkness. She'd bound herself to it, became the living seal, spending eternity holding it back with her own life force until she finally faded. But I was stronger than she'd been, and I had something she didn't. A mate bond, an entire pack, and the will to find another way. I let the darkness pull me toward the seal, an ancient stone covered in glowing runes, cracked and weakening. Through it, I could feel the massive entity on the other side, pressing against the barrier, desperate to break free. "Your power," the fragment hissed. "Give it to me. Break the seal." "No," I said calmly. "I'm going to do something better." I reached for the pack bonds, feeling hundreds of wolves lending me their strength. I reached for the mate bond, feeling Damien's absolute faith and love pouring into me. And I reached deep, deep into the moon blessing, into the core of divine power that had chosen me. Then I rewrote the rules. Instead of sacrificing my life force, I channeled it. Instead of breaking the seal or dying to maintain it, I transformed it. Silver light exploded from my hands, pouring into the ancient stone, remaking it at a fundamental level. The runes began to change, shifting from the desperate bindings of sacrifice to something new. Something sustainable. A seal that drew power not from one dying moon blessed, but from the moon itself. Eternal, regenerating, unbreakable. "No!" the ancient darkness screamed, both the fragment before me and the massive entity beyond the seal. "This is not how it ends." "Yes," I gritted out, pouring everything I had into the spell. "It is." The fragment tried to stop me, darkness wrapping around my throat. But then Damien was there, his wolf tearing into the possessed form, buying me precious seconds. Zeke joined him, and Marcus and hundreds of other wolves, all fighting to give me time. With one final push, I completed the seal. The stone blazed silver, the new runes locking into place with a sound like reality itself, clicking shut. The fragment dissolved with a scream, and beyond the barrier, I felt the ancient darkness retreat, howling in rage as it was pushed back into its prison. This time, forever. I collapsed, completely drained. Damien caught me, his scent wrapping around me like a blanket. "You did it," he breathed, wonder in his voice. "You actually did it." "We did it," I corrected weakly. "I couldn't have done it without the pack bonds. Without you." Around us, wolves were shifting back, cheering, celebrating. The possessed rogues were waking up, confused, but alive. And overhead, the eclipse was ending, the moon emerging from shadow, shining brighter than I'd ever seen it. The moon goddess herself approving of what we'd done. "Come on," Damien said softly, lifting me into his arms. "Let's go home, my Luna." And as we walked back to Pack Lands, surrounded by our wolves, I felt complete in a way I never had before. This was my purpose. Not to die for the greater good, but to live for it. To protect and heal and lead alongside my mate. The girl who'd been rejected 6 months ago was truly gone. In her place stood a Luna, a moon blessed, a woman who'd changed destiny itself. Epilogue. 1 year later, Sera. The nursery was almost finished. I stood in the doorway, one hand on my swollen belly, watching as Damien assembled the crib with intense focus. He'd insisted on doing it himself, despite being the Alpha King with dozens of people who could have done it for him. "You're doing it wrong," I said, amused. He looked up, silver eyes indignant. "I'm following the instructions perfectly. You're holding the screwdriver backwards." He looked down, realized I was right, and muttered something uncomplimentary about modern furniture. I laughed, the sound carrying through our private quarters. The Luna suite that was now truly ours. So much had changed in a year. After the convergence, my reputation as the Moon Blessed had spread across the realm. Packs came from everywhere, seeking healing, guidance, or just to witness the Luna who'd rewritten a 1,000-year-old prophecy. Silvercrest had become the beating heart of the Northern Territory, a place of safety and hope. Damien and I had faced every challenge together. Pack politics, territory disputes, the occasional dark creature that thought it could test our borders. Through it all, the mate bond had only grown stronger, a constant connection that meant I was never alone. And now we were having pups. Twins, according to the pack healer. A boy and a girl, both already showing signs of being moon-blessed like their mother. "There," Damien said triumphantly, standing back from the completed crib. "Perfect." It was slightly crooked, but I didn't have the heart to tell him. "It's wonderful," I said instead, crossing to wrap my arms around him. "They're going to love it." His hands settled on my belly, feeling the pups kick beneath his palms. The wonder on his face never got old. "I still can't believe it," he murmured, "that I almost threw this away, that I almost lost you." "But you didn't." I turned in his arms, looking up at him. "You made a mistake. You fixed it, and we built something beautiful together. I don't deserve you." "Probably not." I grinned. "But you're stuck with me anyway. Forever, remember?" "Forever," he agreed, pressing his forehead to mine. "My mate, my Luna, my everything." Through the open window I could hear the pack gathering for the evening meal. Laughter and conversation drifted up, the sound of family. Zeke and his wolves had officially joined Silvercrest 3 months ago, making us the largest pack in the north. Lyra was now my beta, still kicking my butt in training, even though I was 7 months pregnant. Everything I'd ever wanted, belonging, purpose, love, was right here. "Sera," Damien's voice pulled me from my thoughts. Thank you for not accepting my rejection, for being strong enough to survive and become who you were meant to be, for giving me a second chance I didn't deserve." His voice cracked slightly. "Thank you for choosing me, even after everything." Tears pricked my eyes. Pregnancy hormones made me cry at everything lately. "I'll always choose you," I whispered. "In every lifetime, in every world. You're my mate, Damien Blackthorn, my fated one. And nothing, not prophecies, not ancient evils, not even your own stubbornness, can change that." He kissed me then, soft and sweet and full of promise. Outside, the full moon rose over Silvercrest territory, bathing everything in silver light. This was my happy ending. But more than that, it was my beginning. The rejected Omega was now a beloved Luna. The broken girl was now a powerful woman, and the mate bond that had nearly destroyed me had become the foundation of everything I was. Some stories end with happily ever after. Mine ended with happily ever after, and we're just getting started. And that, my dear listeners, is where we'll leave Sera and Damien, beginning their forever together, with 2 pups on the way, and an entire pack to love. I hope this story touched your heart the way it touched mine. The journey from rejection to acceptance, from brokenness to strength, is one we can all relate to in our own ways. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment and tell me, what was your favorite moment in the story? Did you forgive Damien?